Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today is the basic crochet ribbed family hat. This is available in 3 sizes, and the sizes that we're going to be concentrating today are listed on the title of this video. What we have today is a pattern overview for all of them, and then the video will divide off into the size that we're going to be concentrating on today. So let's take a look at the pattern first. You will see here that it gives you the number of balls that it takes in order to do these hats. So for the 2 to 4 you have 1 ball, 6 to 10 years of age 1 ball, and adult is 1 ball. So it says with the ball you can see that the colors are here. 4 hats can be made with the 2 to 4 size, 3 hats can be made with the 6 to 10, and 2 hats can be made with the adult. You can also do a pom pom with this that we will also demonstrate today. So what's going to happen in this pattern is as the pattern divides and has you make a choice, you will see that there's a color breakdown. So let's take a look at something like this right over here. In patterns like this, when there's a decision to be made, you will see that it's color coded, especially on yarnspirations.com. So you can see that the sizing is matching here and the colors match. So chain 23, 28, or 32, which one are you going to do? You're not going to do all 3. You're going to do the size that matches. So you can either do the 2 to 4, 6 to 10, or the adult size, just like you see here. So when there's not a decision to be made, there's concrete information. So leaving a 24-inch long end for seaming, then that's for everybody, because this 24 is not been color coded. So on page number 2 really starts the first row, the second row, and etc. And again, as I mentioned, it has the color breakdown. So it says 1 half double crochet in each of the next 15, 19, or 22. Choose the size that you're going to do. What I do if I were me and you or I I don't even know if that made any sense, is that what I would go ahead is that even though it's been color coded, I tend to circle or I highlight with a highlighter which size that I'm going to be doing on, so when I can quickly glance I can just notice my work a lot more easier. So we're going to be working through this, and it is really quite an easy pattern to be able to follow, and we're going to be getting started in just a moment. So if you think you're ready to go, I'm ready. So let's do the size that's been listed in the video tutorial, and it will divide off now. So let's begin. So let's begin to do the youngest size, and we're just going to create a slip knot. Make sure you leave about a 24-inch strand, and you will use that for sewing at the end. Then you're just going to create a slip knot. This is an easy level using an L hook or 8mm. So I want you to chain a total of 23. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and go all the way to 23 for me. We'll be back here in just a moment. So we're now going to then come across the chain. You're going to go 3rd chain from the hook and go in the back loop only. So just count it back. So 1, 2, 3. Turn it over and get the back hump of that chain, and I want you to half double crochet. So once you do the first one here, you're going to do the next 15 chains of just half double crochet. Just stay in the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So when I counted, I did the first one and then I did 15. That gives you a total count of 16, just so that you're aware. So now the very final one here, what we want to do is that in the last 5 single crochets, so you can see those are just going to be in the last 5 chains it'll be 1 single crochet in each. So let's just count that out to be sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that will conclude off row number 1. So you'll notice that it's thicker on one side, it's thinner on the other. So this is the side, the thin side is the top of the hat. This here is the gonna be wrapping around and part of the brim. So let's turn our work, do row number 2. Row number 2 and 3 is the repeat throughout this whole thing. So row number 2, chain up 1, and you're gonna go into the front loop only. So if you're new to crochet, you see how there's 2 strands together that equals a stitch, but if you choose just one strand, the one that's closest to you, that's a front loop, and if you choose the other one, that's a back loop. It's away from you. So what you want to do after you chain the 1, just go in the front loop only, so just getting only 1 loop, and it creates a ridge. So do the first 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now what I would do if I were you, you don't need to count the rest of this. You've already counted when you got there. So what you can do, starting in the next stitch, you want to do the horizontal bar. The horizontal bar is right down here. So if you turn it over, you can see the top of the stitch, 1 and 2, and the horizontal bar is here. So when you do that half double crochet, you're gonna wrap the hook and just tuck underneath that bar and stay on the front side of it, and then yarning over, pulling it through, and you're going to half double crochet. So then you just move to the next horizontal bar. So once you do the first one, the next one is just right beside it. And you'll notice that it naturally wants to turn the project so that the topping is facing towards the back, so it reveals this whole ridge. And you're going to half double crochet yourself all the way to the end. So you can see that I'm not counting. I don't need to, because I'm just grabbing every stitch. But if you are going to count, there's a total of 16. And this is row number 2. So when we do row number 3, I'm going to show you, it's not a cheating technique pretty much, it's just an awesome idea. And what I would do to save yourself from counting so you can watch TV more, so you can pound these out for charity or make them for yourself or family or friends, what you can do is cheat the system by looking towards the end of the row when you do row number 3. And I'll show you that in just a second. So come into the very last one, and then that's it. So that was row number 2. So turning to row number 3, so you see the end. So the last 5 here, we know that it's 5 single crochets in a row. So what I would do if I were you is that when you go to start up this, don't bother to count. Okay, you do the first one and then the next 15. What I would do is just start chain 2 and do your half double crochets in the horizontal bar and look and see the final 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you get close, just count those 5 out and then you can just single crochet the final. So to start row number 3, it's that you're just gonna chain 2. Doesn't count it as anything. It's just a builder, and then come into the horizontal bar right there. And you're going to do the horizontal bar until you can see, you can either count to 16, so starting in the first one, so that one's technically not counted in the instructions, so this is like half double crochet in the first and then do the next 15. So you can either, I would just count it to 16 if you're going to, but then what I would do, which you see me doing now, is that I'm not counting at all. I'm trusting in myself that when I get close to the edge, I can just count those final 5 and just single crochet in the front loop only. So this is kind of the idea, like if you're gonna pound out for charity, sometimes it's one of those projects that it's kind of mindless. You can remember stuff like this just to look instead of excessively counting the whole thing across. So when you get close, just see if you can count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can see I have 1 more stitch left. And then in the final 5 that you have, the first one looks like it's tucked in behind, so make sure you don't forget that one. So it's gonna be in the front loop only of single crochet for 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you're gonna turn your work and repeat rows number 2 through and 3 over and over, and you will end on the second row. So you'll finish the second, and the strand here will be at the bottom. So this is where your forehead will be, and this is the top of the hat. So remember when you start off, what I would do, because you are on row number 2, I would count those first 5 out. So chain up 1, do 1 single crochet in the first 5, 3, 4, and 5, and then immediately start with your horizontal bar like that. right, and just go all the way to the end. I wouldn't even count. So then when you turn to do row number 3, you start and chain 2, horizontal bar, half double crochet across, and then the final 5 just put in a single crochet in the front loop. And so we're gonna just continue to go back and forth, and you need to get it so that it will be for the size of a total of 17 inches across. You'll be kind of surprised on how big this hat can go, because once you start curving it around you realize that it's really not that big at all. So what I want you to do is just go back and forth, get your 17 inches, keep repeating rows number 2 and 3, and fasten off on the second row. So make the second row as your last row, and then that will help you. So when you finish off your last row you should be right at the base of the large section right here, and your tail is at the top. I will see you there in just a moment. I'm just gonna sit back, relax, and just get the size that I need. So I'm going to leave a tip for you just in case you're running out of yarn like I did. So I have spare yarn, so this is a great charity project. So if you have like balls that are just partial, you can still use them. You just got to make sure that you're understanding on how to deal with it. So when I'm going to do this with the half double crochet, and you could also do it in the single crochet section here, is that I'm going to wrap the hook, and I want to leave long enough so that I can deal with these tails at the end. So I'm just going to wrap the hook and going in, and I want to just make sure that I have enough tail left over so that I can deal with it. So I can do that one no problem, and I can probably start to do the next one, but I'm going to then switch it for the other yarn. So taking another yarn strand, what I want you to do is just create a loop. Okay, so there's no tie, so you don't see it, and then use that and pull that through. Then what I want you to do is putting both of those strands together, the straggler, just go right up over top of them. So just going into the next stitch, okay, so going into the next stitch, put those two on top, and those will get stuck underneath. Okay, and what we can just do at the end is just deal with it. So you want to work those in for about 2 inches and just leave them hanging out, and we will take a tapestry needle later to be able to weave those in. So that would be my tip instead of just wasting yarn. When I was new to crochet I thought, you know, everything had to be a fresh ball all the time, but if you know how to do this then it's awesome. So in the back you can barely see that it's even been done, so once it's in long enough you can deal with it. So let me show you how to deal with those strands now, because this is a kind of a bonus part of the tutorial, because sometimes I assume that you know that. So let's show you how to deal with those. So using a wool needle, it has a larger backing on the end. Do you see it? And just deal with the one strand at a time. So just put it on, and if it does look like it's popping out, make that the inside of the hat. It's just really easy. So you want to go back through the work, but you want to go through somewhere that it's not the same exact path, so that it'll get stuck underneath the stitch work. So I'm just choosing a slightly different path. If you choose the same one, you're just taking everything out. So go across, okay, and don't pull it tight to the point where it's gonna change the shape, and just choose a slightly different path to go back in the other direction, like that. And truthfully you should go back and forth a total of 3 times. So all of this is getting stuck underneath the hat. And again, if anything pokes out, just make that the inside of the hat so that it's not so obvious. So when you present it to somebody, just make sure that it's the right way. So now that's good. So now you can just safely cut that one out, and then we can do the same thing with the other one, which I will do off camera because it's just the same purpose of going back and forth the total of 3 times. Okay, once you have those secured, you could just keep on moving on in the pattern and you're good to go, and you can't even tell that you really did that. So it's awesome, right? So either side is good. So that's just a little tip for you today. So here we have it. This is 17 inches and this is great. So I finished off on row number 2, which is the largest section. Okay, this is smallest, largest. So it was 17 along here. So I'm just going to fasten this off. I'm just creating an extra long yarn tail just in case I need it. And then what I want to do is that I want to sew this up on the side edge. So you can use the one that I just finished, or you can use this one here, and then what we're going to do is then bunch the top. So this is kind of a neat way to do this without having a lot of stress. So to do that you're just gonna roll it. and then you're just gonna put this yarn onto a tapestry needle. So I'll just pull out my wool needle that I used before. And what I wanna do is that I just wanna match the edge. So I'm just gonna go in the one side here and then pick up the same stitch on the other side, so match it. This is called the whip stitch. Whoops. Okay, and then I'm just gonna match. And what I wanna do is that I wanna follow this all the way up to the top of the hat. So now that I'm all the way to the top, I'm just going to fasten off. The other strand is already at the top, and we're gonna use that strand to be able to close it in at the top. So just going through and just make sure that it kind of ties itself closed. So once I'm satisfied with that, I'm just gonna take the other yarn strand and I'm going to weave it in along the top. Okay, so just starting sequentially and just start collecting stitch work. And then what I would do is just collect it first and then pull it tight when you're ready. Come back to where you had started, and now you can just safely pull it all. So just stabilize it and pull it, and it will all bunch up at the top. Then what I would do, just this strand, just go opposite to where it is and just go diving in to the stitch work. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to close that off, so I just want to work diagonally across from each other. And once you verify you really can't see much of that, what I would do is just point it down through the middle of the hat, and my hand is on the inside pulling this out, and then tie it onto the inside of this hat. So we still have a pom-pom that you can add to this if you want to. Okay, so once you got that tied, you can just safely cut that. So this now makes it the inside of the hat. Now the other strand that you have popping out that we used to sew up, just put that onto the tapestry needle as well. And then go down in, and what you're just doing is securing that to the inside too. So just make sure it ties, and then we're gonna move on to the pom-pom next. And that should be good. So then that's it, and you have the basic formation of the hat other than the pom-pom. When you do the pom-pom, I would do it so that it has a tie, so that if you need to throw it into the wash, it's good. So then you could either wear it like that, or like the photo says or shows, just roll up the brim, and then you got a nice little cute hat to wear, and you just got to add a pom-pom. So that's kind of cool. Either way you want to do it, either way is stylish, I suppose. I prefer a brim on my hat, so I like that it's provided that, and it's good. So let's go to the pom-pom next. So the easiest way to do a pom-pom is to do a pom-pom maker. You can also do cardboard, you can also do your fingers. I am not really good at the cardboard or the fingers. I like the pom-pom maker. So if you get this one here, you want to open them up, so it's a bit of clamping, and right where the one has an indent on the outside, match it like this. So see that there's an indent here but not here, and then here and not there. So you want to match them to each other, and the indent naturally wants to go with each other. So what you can just do then is that you just want to match. Okay, so now we want to grab our yarn, and we're just gonna wrap around. So once you start this, you can see how it will sandwich together, and you're just gonna wrap. So you're gonna wrap completely one side before jumping to the other, and you'll use the same strand, of course. So once you get enough on there, you'll see that it'll just want to naturally fall into position. The wrapping kind of holds everything together. So once I'm satisfied with that, I can just safely just jump over to the next one. So just coming around the outside, just turn it around if it makes it easier for you, and just start wrapping this side. Once both sides look even, what you're just going to do is just shut it. Okay, so open up the clamps and close it, and then close the clamps. So it's getting both sides, and therefore it's good. And now you can just safely cut this yarn. So all we're just going to do, I'm just going to keep this yarn close, and I'm going to slide my scissors in between the two sandwich sections. There's a small gap. Those bumps that I showed you are keeping that from completely closing in on itself. That, and then we do the other one. Do that strand that also jumped from one side to another. So there, it's good. So now we want to grab that other strand that we were just playing with and just keep both sides long, and you're just gonna go between the two sections. Like that. And you're going to tie as tight as you can. So it's gonna go down in between, and then I purposely flip it over, and then I come up and tie again. And then once I do that, I then flip it over again and tie. And this time I will go down and I will tie one more time. So these two long strands now become the tying to the hat itself, and so now you can just safely open up your clamps and release that ball. So now all you just gotta do is fluff it up and then give it a bit of a trim to shape. Okay, so cut off anything that looks like it doesn't belong. And then once you're satisfied with this, just give it a bit of a shake, and then I'm gonna show you how to tie it to the hat so that if you give it to somebody and they want to wash this hat, they can remove this. So make sure that you don't sew it so it's part of the hat permanently. So back to the hat we go. Obviously you're probably gonna give this away with the hat or the pom-pom attached. Some people actually sell their hats in a boutique like at a craft show without the pom-pom attached, but provide the pom-pom as an extra, just as an extra perk. So you can just put the one strand down through the hat and just pull it to the inside. I'm just using a smaller hook, and then coming to the opposite side of the topping, grab the other strand and pull it down and to the inside of the hat. So you will have two strands then coming out. So just pull it so that it will sit on top. Now this side here, what we want to do is just tie it into a bow tie, and therefore that bow tie can then be used to take it off if you have to. So just trim this so that those long strands don't fall out of the hat. So it gives somebody an option to be able to take that off and then just put it back on if they would like to wash. So this would then conclude on how to do the pom-pom to the top of the hat.